Fair for you, friends. I thought I'd give you a wee taster of the poem The Jaa Banes today. The Jaa Banes is the title poem of my collection The Jaa Banes, which is out now. Now, The Jaa Banes, the poem, is a good old-fashioned Ulster Scots ghost story. It's influenced by all those great poems and stories from the Scots tradition that draw on the supernatural, things like Tam O'Shanter, of course, but just as importantly from those old ghost stories that my granny always told me when I was a wean. So that's kind of where it comes from. The story is that we've got this character, this fellow, the central character, who is a bit of a demented fellow, to be honest. He goes out wandering every night for reasons that he likes to keep quiet. He lives in some kind of strange Ulster Scots dystopia, it seems, and he wanders around the place, the mosses and the plantains and the shucks, all these wonderful kind of words that bring together the Ulster Scots topography. So he's wandering out one night. It's wet, it's teeming down, there's a thunderplump, and he takes a buckle up over his shuck, but his shoes slip in the ground, and he ends up on his back in the glare, looking up at the moon. He puts his hand down to push himself up and finds something hard in the ground. It's an odd shape. He takes it out, puts it in his pocket, takes it home, and when he gets home he finds out that this is actually a jaw bane. It's a jawbone, a human jawbone, a mandible. So he takes this out. He decides, well, I'm going to have to go and see if the rest of the skeleton's there. So he goes back, and what he finds kind of surprises him, and that's really the start of the story. So that's kind of the plot of the Jawbones. If you want to find out what he finds, then you could have a wee look at the book. But while he's lying there, looking up at the moon, a thistle blows across his sight as well, and this just gets him thinking about identity, thinking about the Ulster Scots. It put him in mind of the Scotch folk, wha lang syne flitted o'er, to big their hames and clachans on this bitter, crabbed shore. Ulster and Scotland, sib and cindered, at yence for nence and through ither. Abel's the inn and airskip, aye, but Ulster's the bastard brother. Honour thon thistle and lowen moon, a thocht in the teeming rain, where a mixter maxter clatter a gats a wains a bastard wains. Blowins feor the narra sea, us crabbed planter folk, wha hearts say thran and heats say hard, would gar a creator boke. Aye, weel, geezer mixter maxter blood, and her kirkyards fu' of banes, though ganches gurn, and gomerals glunch, the cracks eye, howl, yer, Ian. Okay, folks, I hae mind of the Ulster Scotch.